All right. Well, welcome everybody. We're excited to have you join us here for week 4 of this 4-week challenge. This is our Huddle Up call. If you're brand new to watching the webinar, welcome. You may have just gotten an email or a link from one of the team leaders and coaches in the challenge to invite you to come in here about how to build a healthy support system. We're glad that you're here. If you're a challenger in the challenge, we hope that you're earning lots of points and you're making great progress. But if you're not, and you're here today, you're making progress, right, Craig?
That's right. Yeah. One day at a time. Literally, it's the small incremental things that we do over time is really what makes the difference.
Right. Well, we still have a couple of contests you may have seen on the main challenge wall. We've got the rest and relax little fun contest where if you post a picture of yourself just enjoying some stress relief. I like the ones where people are taking a picture of their bare feet on the sand or bare feet at the pool. But whatever way you find rest and relax, we'd like to have some fun and just post a contest picture inside the main challenge wall. If you're not really sure how that works, just click over on the contest information and that'll give you more details, or email support@meltdownchallenge.com and they'll give you all the details you need to know. We are doing another challenge in September. If you want to participate in that, contact your team leader. There's lots of fun tools and resources that are going to be available in the fall challenge, and you can contact your team leader or the person that invited you to get a link to join. Lots of great information. It's going to be a 6-week challenge like what we typically do, and it's going to be all built on building those healthy habits. And for those of you that want to lose weight, you can still do that. And if you want to just maintain your weight and continue your journey to adopt the habits of health, you can participate in the challenge and just maintain weight. So many of you are familiar with the Take Shape for Life health coaching program by now. You've seen us talk about it on the webinars, and it's now a really good time to start talking about what your next play is going to be after the challenge wraps up. And Craig, you want to talk a little bit more about how challengers are using the health coaching program as kind of like a next step beyond the challenge?
Yeah, people come in at different stages, and that's one of the things I like about it is that everybody is at a different place in their health journey. A lot of people will get introduced to this healthy habits kind of mindset for becoming healthy through one of our health challenges. And along the way, maybe some of the things that they decided to adopt weren't enough to get them where they wanted to be. And so some of the folks then will start to use some of our power tools. They'll start working with a personal health coach. They'll start integrating with our habits of health system at even a higher level. And what I love is every time the challenge ends, it's not like your intention or desire to be healthy ends. And so one of the nice things is you can buddy up and partner up with a personal certified health coach and actually get one-on-one coaching. And I find that that's been the most powerful, that's probably the catalyst for me. It's like the anchor for me. And then the healthy games and these health challenges have been a supplement to that.
Yeah, that is the place where predictable transformation takes place. And we'll hear a little bit about the support structure. Some people have conceptions of what this is, and tonight we're going to clear it up. And we've got a surprise guest here with us that we'll introduce in just a moment to explain it all to you. So tonight's agenda is going to be benefits of a solid support system. We're going to talk about how to build that microenvironment of health. We're going to talk about the strategies that you can take today to start strengthening your support system from one of the innovators in the idea of creating a healthy support system. And then we're just going to have some people throw in some feedback using the chat message to have them share a little bit about their success in the challenge. So let's go ahead without any further ado and introduce our surprise guest, Dr. Wayne Scott Andersen. These are some of his best-selling tools. You've probably become familiar with them because you've seen some of his videos. You've probably read a lot of his health tips and some of the perspective that he's brought to this world of health and creating health in your life. And tonight we get the enormous pleasure of having him live with us to talk a little bit more about his passion in helping people to create a fundamental shift to really choose to create optimal health in their life and to take shape for life. So Dr. A, welcome to our Huddle Up tonight.
Well, thanks, David. Thanks, Craig. It's great to be here. It's always great to be able to talk to people about awakening to the possibilities they have to truly integrate themselves in health, healthy mind, healthy body, and even healthy abundance in all the key areas of life. You know, we talk a lot about well-being, and our mission is to help people create optimal well-being. And most people are not even really sure what that is. So I'm glad I'm here tonight, here to answer some questions and really hopefully help your viewers understand maybe a little higher level that what they've kind of got themselves into here is a group of people that are actually taking back their health, focusing and organizing their life around what matters most, and then supporting each other on that path, which is pretty neat.
That's great. Well, you've written so many great resources, and you spent over 25 years in a high intense environment where you were saving people's lives. You graduated valedictorian of your medical class, 10th physician board certified in critical care. Why are you talking about health habits? I mean, give people the perspective of your background and why you're so passionate about this message.
Well, that's interesting. And I was just talking to another physician today, a cardiologist, that we're really actually taking ourselves to the next level. And that is that what we really want to do is help people create health, optimal health and well-being in their lives, not react to disease. And, one of the key parts of that are the fundamentals. They're actually these habits. 45% of our day is filled with these things that we do automatically. And unfortunately for most of us, if we went just on our programming, our 10,000-year-old biology, we're really programmed to do the wrong things. We're designed to conserve energy and to store energy. Obviously, that worked 10,000 years ago when energy and food was very hard to find. Today, it's very, very difficult because all the food is full of lots of calories. In fact, we live in a very energy-dense world where for a very small amount of money you can produce lots of calories, and ingestion of that has led to, we're leading the world. Mexico and I and us are number 1 and number 2 in obesity with all the secondary metabolic considerations of that. We're also not moving, this computerized lifestyle, sedentary lifestyle, and just put us in a position where we're sitting way too much. And the third part is we're stressed out to the max, and as you mentioned, it's great to take that time off, and hopefully over the 4th of July, your viewers had an opportunity maybe to spend some time and just kind of chill, be with family, and it probably felt pretty good. But for some of you, you were thinking all the time, oh, I got to go back to work tomorrow, or how much did this cost, or I'm worried about where my kids are. And really, even in the moment of in a holiday weekend, not sleeping well, being stressed out. And what we know is these are the key things that lead. And I spent my time, like those 20 plus years, really reacting to disease when it got way downstream from all those poor choices that Craig was talking about. And so now we've kind of changed my orientation and really looking at integrating. And one of the key things of integration is actually understanding that these little baby things you do, micro habits as I like to call them, actually across the whole spectrum of our daily choices can make all the difference, change the trajectory, get ourselves into momentum, and actually retrain our brain. One of the cool things about our habits is they are totally can be reprogrammed. And as you reprogram, become aware of them, you can really, really create a difference. But at that key, support is right there in the middle. Without support, doing it on your own, going alone, this is not an individual sport. It's actually a team sport. And you guys have run a very successful challenge that allows people to come together as a community and kind of hang out and spend time together. And you start adopting some of those similarities, which is really good. But moving forward, it's key to lock in a long-term system to support you.
Yeah.
One of the things that I've said is that not one of us, we have two things in common. Not one of us is as healthy as we want to be. And that's the one thing we have in common. The second one is we're doing something about it. And so that's what I love, that it's a level playing field for us involved in this program and in this challenge.
Well, that's absolutely true, Craig. In fact, even in terms of your healthy mind, that's one of the areas that we used to think was pretty fixed. And then we started discovering neuroplasticity. Well, actually, I've been doing some work in neuroscience, getting ready for a new book I have coming out. And in that, they actually have a 92-year-old, that was a very successful lawyer. And but he missed some of the emotional things. He wasn't well connected to his family or his health. And now with the understanding about the parts we're missing in the integration of our brain, in a very short period of time, less than 6 months, they were able to take and actually retrain the right side of his brain, bring back the emotions, and his wife actually called into the team that was working with him and said, did you give him a brain transplant? So the cool thing about it is wherever you are, and people spend so much time beating themselves up and say, well, I just can't do it, so this is my story. Well, the cool thing is we can help you change that story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of the support that comes from the challenge is going to go away on Monday, and people are going to be left in a situation where they're going to be hanging out with the people that they spend the most time with, or what they did prior to the challenge. And some of those people are toxic. And so, Dr. A, you want to just talk a little bit more about the power of association and how people's, friends and family members and coworkers can really start to impact their health?
Yeah, no, and you've got a nice slide here that represents it. But basically, most of the habits you have, most of the things that you are a combination of your five closest associates, the friends and family you hang out with, and your friends. And actually, the influence of your best friend on your health and in your well-being is more important even than your spouse. It's pretty amazing that connectivity. And it's so important to realize that if you leave the challenge and you go back to the people that may not have done this with you and have not grown, you've grown. What you don't realize is with that neuroplasticity, you've started to lay down new habits and you're starting to do things that are actually more healthy for you. The question is, what's going to happen now? Do you have someone to help you with that? Do you have a group of people that are in the same spirit and the same growth? Are they playing above the line, open, curious, and their desires to grow? Or are they people that are playing below the line and they're actually closed, defensive, and more interested in being right than they are in actually growing as an individual? So that's a really important question for you, are those 5 people that are closest to you, are they people that are actually a positive influence on your health, on your well-being, or are they people that maybe for a while you might have to put on hiatus while you go out and find some people that actually are like-minded?
Yeah, and that's a hard thing for people to do, and so I'd like to have you expand on that a little bit. I have a poll up right now. If you've navigated away from your computer, come in and cast your vote. We've got about half of the people on the webinar that have voted, but the question is, are you surrounded by healthy people? And throw in your answer. And Dr. A, could you share a little bit more about how an individual that's surrounded by maybe unhealthy people or maybe has kind of a balance, what's the first thing that they could do to take that next step in creating a health environment?
Yeah, and when we say that, we're actually not saying, okay, just dump your friends. I mean, obviously, that's a process. If you have good relationships are a very important part. But actually, in this, as you've taken this health challenge and you've really seen that you're starting to move forward and you like what you see, it's important to set yourself up for a win. So basically, David mentioned this earlier, but one of the key things that I've discovered is a microenvironment of health. I want to create an underlying structure. This challenge has been 4 weeks that's allowed you to start to feel that, but moving forward. And that's actually what Take Shape for Life is. It's actually a microenvironment of health that we've created, an optimal health community of like-minded people that are actually really focused on their health. And it's kind of like I was talking today to David this morning, but it's kind of like we've created this healthy tribe. It's a group of people. We're kind of challenging the status quo, and we want to focus our life around the things that matter inside of us. And those things are our physical, our mental, our financial, our love for what we do for a living, and all those things together actually create well-being. And it's important for us to realize and recognize if we don't have that, that's one of the steps you want to have. So Take Shape for Life is actually an optimal health community. And whether you join as a client or decide to become a coach with us, both those afford you an opportunity through exposure to now be around people that have raised their hands and said, you know what, I'm stepping up and I'm taking responsibility for my health and for my life.
Yeah. Well, we had about 73% of our participants tonight were somewhere in that in-between category where they had a few people that were healthy and a few people that were unhealthy. But in terms of the participants that are with us tonight, a lot of them are thinking that they can maybe do it on their own, or they don't necessarily want to use a pre-planned fueling system. How would you address that person in response to this idea that they think that they have to do a specific thing to be part of our dynamic community, Dr. A?
Yeah, and everybody needs to feel comfortable. We're not in the business of selling and telling. It really doesn't work. I found that when people are convinced about something they're not really convinced of, they're going to fail in it. And to make a commitment to something doesn't really hang it for me. So what I love to do is have people understand why doing it in a group is probably more in your best interest than doing it. You can try to do it on your own, but we are very social animals. In fact, if you look at some of the key areas of compassion and empathy and working together as a team, they're tremendously powerful in actually not just helping us put us in a situation where we're more likely to be in resonance with each other. It's kind of like guitar strings. You know, when you're with people that are resonating at a certain level, and then you flick that guitar and you flick that string, you'll feel the other strings around resonate at that same level. And so when you have more people together, it actually adds benefit to you, and it's actually more powerful than being alone. It's actually very powerful for our brains. Our brains, you know, are really we're finding more and more about a healthy mind. And a healthy mind is made up of, obviously, your brain. It's made up of your mind, and it's also made up of your relationships. And the three of those, that triad together, is what determines your long-term health, and certainly your integration. And most people are outside of that river of integration. We like to talk about 95% of people are either rigid in their approach or they're chaotic. They're either really strict in what they do, or they're basically over here with just chaos in their life. And really, to integrate those parts, it's very tough to do by yourself. And what's neat is when you're with like-minded people, and by the way, the cool thing is none of us are perfect. You know, Craig, you said that earlier. None of us are perfect. We're simply doing something together. And because we're raising our hand, we're open to growing, and we're basically curious about how we can get better. It puts us in an environment where we start actually growing quicker. So it's pretty important. Now, you can do it with some people that are doing the same thing, but what's nice is to have a system. And what's kind of cool about the Habits Health system is I've integrated that into Take Shape for Life. And Take Shape for Life is really an optimal health company. It's about a community of people that have come together. Now, we use, you mentioned prepackaged fuelings. We use that because it's easier for people. It's really difficult for people, unless you have a nutrition degree or you're really versed in how to eat healthy. It's really difficult especially while you're losing weight, to do all the right things. You can really sabotage your program pretty easy, even though you might think, okay, well, I can eat take a blueberry, a little basket of blueberries, and put it in a blender and have that. And that probably gives you 500 calories, mostly of sugar. And so even though it has some tremendous antioxidants, by taking it out of its normal construct, which is all the fiber and the skin on it, you're now putting it in a position where it can actually harm you and actually have you gain weight. So what's nice about the prepackaged fuelings, we use those as a tool, especially in the beginning, so you can focus on all the little baby steps, working on being in the right structure, working with your coach, and having these fuelings that taste great. They're easy to do. And, you know, I've been using them for 15 years. I use them every day. I had a wonderful dinner tonight with my family. But during the day today, because I'm busy really getting ready for a national convention, which is coming up, is I don't really have time to go in there and prepare, you know, a big salad. So what I've done is I've used the meal replacements today. And I've been able to maintain my healthy weight. I have a great energy level. I don't get tired. And more importantly, it puts me in position to make sure I'm not putting bad stuff in our bodies, because we have a tendency, you know, to maybe skip breakfast or not eat. And then at the end of the day, we get hungry, and our hunger overcomes us, and we end up eating all the wrong things, and it sabotages and creates that vicious cycle. So what's great about this, not only can this help you in a group feel the power of that group, but also it can actually put you in a position where you can see to become a coach. We have a wonderful system, and our coaches are really like-minded people that just reach out and then help other people do the same thing they're doing. It's not like you have to have a nutrition degree or an exercise physiology degree. Really, the most important thing is that you care about people. And when you care about people and reach out, you start developing your healthy mind as well as helping others, and it can really be beneficial for you on your own journey towards optimal health.
You know, Dr. A, I want to tell you just a story that happened today. I was talking with a challenger who had participated in a challenge a couple of times. She followed her own nutrition plan. She's a former athlete. She, you know, has won a couple of challenges, but never done the Take Shape for Life program. But she just got back from a family vacation. She's up now by 15 pounds, and she wanted to know more about the program, but when she found out about the full program, she still thought she wanted to do it on her own. So she waited another month or two, finally, I chose to invest in her, and I sent her your Habits of Health book, and it was the big 375-page reference manual of all the resources. But I knew if she read that book, she would be awakened, and so I sent it out to her. And today I had a chance to speak with her, and I challenged her a couple of different times to read chapter 3 and 4, where you talk about awakening this idea of creating health in her life. And she just texted me and she said, "I got it. I was reading his book, and I now understand what you're trying to tell me and what you've been trying to tell me. Thank you for your persistence. I want to do it the right way, and I do think that this idea of following this 5-in-1 plan will get me the results that I desire. And I also have a couple other friends that would like to do it with me." And she got it, but it took her a couple of different challenges and a couple of different months before she actually got to that point where she finally said, better together than to do it alone.
Well, and that's, that's the cool thing about what we're doing. Again, we're not trying to convince people. We're simply trying to awaken them. And, one of the interesting things about it is in my my studies of memory, we have implicit and explicit memory. And implicit memory is like learning to ride a bike. You learn to do it, and then you get on a bike after years, you can do it right away. And it's not like you have to recall something from the past. It's just there. Well, that same thing actually works with concepts. We have concepts and beliefs. And what happens is somehow, somewhere, we got these ideas in our mind of this is not good, or that's not good, or this, and we don't even know where we got them. And what's really cool about this is our coaches are really trained to just be there to awaken people and to come at their own pace. And some people really have to work through their stuff. Some people are ready to go right now. Some people may not be ready for a while, but that experience you just described to me, I found that over the years, I've been doing this for 15 years, I have people that, 12, 13, 14 years ago that are now coming back, and they're really realizing, and really the test of something is that it stands up over time. And I can tell you, the people that have learned the habits of health, that truly make the decision to become the dominant force in their life, to play above the line, and to basically work with a team, work with their coach, work within the system, those people are showing dramatic long-term success. And so what I love about this, and I like how you put it in here, is the combination of the coach, basically using our social media and using our social presence through the internet, using the system of lifestyle of the habits of health, and using our peers together. Those components truly make a functional system that you can come in and out of. So it's not like you're obligated to come in. You come in because you want to. You come in because you want value. I'm in the process of starting to build a habit installer. And one of the key things when I was working with the team, it'll be ready hopefully by the end of the year. And when I was working with the team, I said, you know what I want? Unlike all these things people have, the Fitbits and all these apps that people use for a little while, the novelty breaks down and then they're gone. Let's build something that actually adds value. It's kind of like for people that use the iPhone and using Siri. These are things that help us day in and day out, make it easier in our life, not make it more complicated. They truly add value, not just gimmickry or a fad. And that's what we're doing. We're taking the basics of what it takes to create long-term health. And the first part of that is the desire to do it for yourself. Second, to want to learn how to master these concepts. And to master those concepts, you've got it outlined here beautifully. You want your knowledge, and then you want to put it into practical application, and then you want to watch other people that are doing, which is what our group does, as well as model it for others. And doing those together actually creates that resonance, that guitar string that we talked about. And we learn actually while we're doing it, while we're helping others. It helps us. Just like tonight, in preparation for the chapter in one of the books I'm writing, bottom line is just talking to you guys helps me learn. It helps me grow. It helps me start to process it at a different level. And as long as we have that attitude that we want to be open and curious, we want to improve ourselves and grow, as long as we adopt that and we don't stay closed, we don't stay defensive, and we don't try to be right, we actually want to grow. As long as we're willing to do that, this program can actually put you in a place as a vehicle. It can not only change your physical, mental, and financial health, but put you in position to create well-being for all those people you care that are around you. So I can't tell you how excited I am. just to have an opportunity to share with your viewers. These are people in a 4-week challenge. You've taken your first step. It's kind of like the beginning of your integration. And all you have to do is decide that, you know what, I want to continue. If this feels right to you, you know, that's kind of that intuition that, you know what, I like what's going on here. I like what's happening to me, and I want to continue on that journey.
Hey, Dr. A, talk about this slide here called the trilogy, and really what's the, what does the trilogy mean, and why is it so valuable?
Well, you know, as you know, Craig, I came into this experience, this season of my life, through medicine as a critical care physician. And my first focus coming out was I was very, very distraught at the progressive onslaught of obesity and poor health and inflammatory disease and cancers and all the just amazing things at a time when our technology is so advanced that were happening to people. And I realized that we needed to change our choices, our habits, how we eat, how we move, how we handle sleep. But what I realized behind that, it was more than just the biomedical parts of our body. It's actually the psychosocial as well. And now in balance, and as I come out this next 6 months with the next edition of the Habits of Health and the companion guide, there'll be much more balance into healthy mind, because you know the mind is so critical. As you know, I know you spend a lot of time studying compulsion and a lot of things that people suffer from, and just being able to kind of break those loops. And what I'm finding is that balance, that wonderful integration that we can do when people are starting to really enjoy, they're now minimizing that rigidity and that chaos that I was talking about, and putting themselves into having peace and not having stress. And then part of that stress obviously comes from living in a world where it's changing so rapidly. Many people are finding that what they may have been trained on, what they've done before, either no longer is bringing them joy, or is basically is obsolete now in our changing world. And so what I love about what we do is we actually help address that, where people can take charge of the finances in their life and put themselves in position where not only, and I'll go to the healthy mind, because a lot of people, you know, even if they have a fairly good job, but because they're so unhappy in the other areas, you know, they're going on the internet and shopping. They're going to the shopping mall. They've got addictive behaviors, spending too much money, because they're looking to somehow fill their world full of external things. And we kind of take the different, kind of reverse engineer that. We focus on helping people organize their life around what matters most. And certainly you want to have the finances to be able to live in a neighborhood that's safe, to be able to put your kids in the right school, being able to have the free time in your occupation to spend time with your family and enjoy life and have great hobbies and stuff. But beyond that, it's really the combination of having all three. It's that integration of the trilogy that in the center creates optimal health for people.
Well, that's what I've seen. I've seen some people that have good finances, but their mental stress or their bodies just aren't in good shape. It's what I've seen is to get one of these is not too terribly challenging. To get a balance of all three of these it seems like you get one or two going good and the third one slips out of your hand. And that's why I believe the community that we have is we're working on this together, and we learn so much better in a group than we do by ourselves.
Well, and that's so true, Craig. You know, it's interesting because today I was putting together basically our doctor panel for National Convention, where, by the way, you guys should think that are on tonight should find out more for whoever got you on this tonight, because you would love National Convention this year in Austin, Texas. You know, the land of harmony and music is going to be incredible. But I was talking to several physicians today that I was bringing onto the panel, seeing how they're doing. A couple of them I haven't talked to in a month or so. And it was interesting. Every single one of them, exactly what you just said. They have balance in the key areas, and they had a wonderful time celebrating the 4th of July with their family. I didn't hear anything negative in there. It was all about the joy they have, the gratitude they have. I talked to like 4 or 5 other people that have been with me that had very dysfunctional lives, and actually this morning talked to 2 of them that were really having all kinds of issues in terms of balance in their life. And they were just, they're so grateful. And the idea is, it's not grateful for something you're just going to get on your own. You've got to work for this, to work and create health for yourself. That's why We want to awaken you to chapter 3 and 4 and the ideas that you can make a difference in your own health and your own life, and then awaken you to the possibility that this structure we've created, this system, puts you in position where you truly can organize your life around what matters most and put yourself where you can thrive in all the key areas. And it's very doable. And I got to tell you that the majority of the people now that are really reaping the benefits, including you guys, I've watched where the worlds you came from and the world you're in now, and it's really neat, including my own world, by the way. I was in here working on something. My daughter comes in and says, "Hey, Dad, let's go stand up paddleboarding." And I thought for a second. I said, "I really want to read this last thing and write this thing down." I said, "You know what? I can do that when I come back." I got up. We went right down the creek. I live on a cool creek right outside here by our dock where our sailboat is. I got on the stand up paddleboard. The sun was low in the sky. We went around one of the corner, and there was a great blue heron sitting on a log. We watched it eat a fish. Then we watched an osprey come down out of the tree, and we were back there, and it was just so the water was totally flat and reflective. And there was 30 minutes of time that I spent with my daughter, and we hung out. She's going to be going back to school. She's in her sophomore year at the school. She wanted to go to the same school I went to, and that's what life's about. It's about being able to integrate yourself to the point where you can organize your life around what matters most.
Yeah, that's so cool to be able to see those things happen. I'm seeing those things. I know Craig is doing that same exact thing. And for those of you that answered the poll question, the two highest answers for how you're going to improve your support system was one, create healthier conversations, and then the second one was to pay it forward. And so, yeah, the next step, we like to use the stop, challenge, and choose philosophy that Dr. Andersen has perfected. And we want to stop you and challenge you to schedule a health coaching session with your team leader and health coach or the person that invited you, and then really start thinking about how you can expand your support team, whether that's to become a member of our community with Take Shape for Life, or whether it's to choose to share health with other people and to become a health coach. And if you are looking to take it to that next step and you really want to learn about creating optimal health and you want to learn about helping other people, Dr. Andersen and a whole host of health professionals and health coaches are going to be in Austin, Texas, July 21st through the 23rd, and doing a great health coach training convention with lots of great educational courses, workshops, and things of that nature. So contact the team leader or challenge coach that invited you into the challenge. We hope that each and every one of you got some good ideas and value. Thank you, Craig. Thank you, Dr. A. And let's finish strong in the challenge, everybody. Have a great night.
Congratulations, guys.
See ya. Good night.